All right, welcome along. I'm
Thank
Nat.
you.
Great, we've got Patty here. She's in Florida right now, and we might have a few more people coming in, but we thought we'd get started so that because Patty's been asking a few questions, so we thought we'd start recording. But in case we haven't met before, I'm Nat, and over there is my wife Jodie, and we were just talking with Patty about how we're the opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of times of water fasting. So I tend to do the really extended water fast, and Jodie tends to do the little fast. So you get both ends, which is really cool. So Patty was just asking about the difference. What we're actually talking about here is extended water fasting. So you've probably heard about intermittent fasting before, which is where in a 24-hour period, you would have a certain number of hours that you would eat and the rest of the time that you would fast. So you might have, they say like a 18-6. So you would fast for 18 hours of the day and you would eat during a 6-hour window. So that's a really good one to do. So that's pretty popular right now, the intermittent fasting, and it's a fantastic way to get started in fasting because it's allowing your body to get used to what it's like to be in a fasted state. So your body, as I was just saying to Patty, your body thrives on fasting. It loves it. So there's no issues with your body handling a fast. It's the mind that we have to worry about. That's the thing that we have to convert over to a fasting state. So we're so used to eating all the time now. Back in the old days when we were a little bit more intermittent with our food and its availability, back in caveman days, fasting was very natural. So it's actually part of our DNA. It's not a hard thing to do. So, and I think that's one thing I want to really instill in the whole freedom fasting, partially why we called it freedom fasting, was to allow your mind to really catch up to the idea of fasting and be okay with it. It's not a big deal. I don't want it to be a big deal for people that thinking, I don't think I can fast for 2 days and not have food for 2 days or not have food for 3 days. It's actually not that difficult because your body adjusts to it and it goes through a whole process, and it actually goes pretty good without food, funnily enough. But we're so trained to have food all the time, like all day, every day. And it's probably about the worst thing you can do for your health is snacking right throughout the day. So you start at, 9 in the morning, you have breakfast, might have cereal or toast, or if you're in the UK, you have a big cooked breakfast, or in Europe, you do that. And then we have lunch, at 1 o'clock, we always have lunch at the same time. And then we have afternoon tea, and then we have a dinner that might be late, particularly if you're in Europe, you might have a late dinner. So then we've just eaten the entire day. And the problem with that is your body is either digesting food or it's healing itself. It can't do both at the same time. So when you take food in, the first thing it's going to do is digest the food because it can't afford to have food just sitting in your system there, like it's off healing something instead. It can't afford to have just food sitting there the whole time. So the first thing it's going to do is go back to digestion. And guess what? Healing gets put on the back burner again. So the body is amazing at healing. And fasting is not a cure, but fasting allows the body to cure itself. So it puts it into the state where you're actually healing 24/7, which is amazing. Amazing amounts of healing. Your body will heal itself with incredible speed when you give it a chance to do that. And that's why we fast. We take the food away so the digestion stops and we allow the body to heal itself. And that's, to me, what fasting is all about. Weight loss is great, 100%. I can attest to that. But it's, for me, fasting, and I really hope for others, that fasting is all about healing the body so that it works like it's supposed to work. It's healthy again. Were you going to say something, Jodie? Oh, okay, sorry.
So you go for you do the juicing for like 3 days beforehand, and then you start on just the water fast after that.
Yeah, it depends on how long you're going to fast for. And I was saying to Patty just before that a 3-day water fast is so incredibly healing to the body. In 3 days, your body will replace your immune system. So if you're feeling really run down, if you've got long symptoms of long COVID, which a lot of people have, I've got lots of friends with that, and you just feel like you're really run down, then a 3-day fast can really enhance that and really change it up for you. So say we were doing a 3-day water fast, then yeah, it's up to you entirely, but I always encourage people to do a week or so of fruits and vegetables before that. Just purely fruits and veg to really clean out your system, because fasting is a really good way to clean out your system as well. Like your body will 100% detox itself in that time. So
the other side of doing the longer that you can do in cleaning out your system just makes the fast easier.
It does.
If you're going on to a 3-day fast and you're only going to give yourself, say, 1 day of going back to what you're doing at the moment, juicing and souping, if you only had that 1 day, then your fast might be a little bit harder as such, like to sort of get through. Whereas if in your case, like you've been sort of having more of a liquid diet for a little while, and it will be easier to go into a water fast, have that benefit of all the healing that's going on, and then come back out into what you're already doing, meaning the juices and the soups and the what have you. So what happens before the fast and what happens after is actually probably to a degree even more important than the actual fast itself.
Yeah, in the pre-fast, you really want to think about it in terms of loading your system with lots of vitamins and minerals so that we don't suffer when we go into the fast. So for me, the whole thing is to try and make it as easy as possible. That transition, we're not just like I did back in Canada a couple of years ago, is like, oh, I think I'll start a fast tomorrow for 5 days. And then that was it. I was just like, one day I'm eating, next day I'm not. And it was horrible.
It worked for you. Yeah, I was going to say, how did that work for you?
It did not work at all. I suffered through it. I actually did it, but I was in so much pain the entire time. I had the worst headache. All I could do was just lay in bed or lay on the lounge. Jodie was off on a conference, thankfully. And it was just the most horrible experience. And I did it a couple of times like that, where you just eat 1 day and you start fasting the next. And that's not a way to fast. The whole thing is to transition into it. So it's just such a natural progression of like, oh, tomorrow I'm just having water. That's great. And it just is a nothing thing. So that pre-fast, if you can load your system with lots of vitamins and minerals through fruits and vegetables, and then come into a juice for a day or two, and then start the water fast, and you'll find that transition so much easier. It's interesting with the juice. I don't know how you're going with it, Patty, because I know you're having a lot of juices right now and liquid foods. But I find the juices, like I'm really looking forward to the water by the time we do 2 days of juice, because I'm just really over it. It's so sweet. Your body's starting to detox and you're really feeling like you're tasting everything so much more potently. And it's like, wow, this is really sweet, this juice. I can't wait to just have water. So it is nice to sort of get to that stage of like, yeah, the juice has been great. I've loaded my system. The good thing with juice is it doesn't have the fiber in it as well. So you really start to slow down your digestion, and your body does start to take a little bit of a break once you get onto the juices for a couple of days. And then we go to water. So yes, and then we would go to water for however many days you wish to fast for. And the body amazingly can fast if you've got a normal amount of fat on the body, because that's what it's using for its fuel at that point. If you've got a normal amount, you can fast for like 30 or 40 days quite easily.
So I have a question for that, Nat. Would you say that normal aspect is what they class on the BMI index?
Yeah, maybe a little bit over the BMI index, because once you hit the BMI index, you're really quite thin. And you're not generally carrying a lot of body fat. But if you are over the BMI, your normal BMI, then yes, you would have plenty of fat to burn, if you like. And it takes a lot to get down to your BMI. Like I've lost 33, 34 pounds already, and I'm still not at my BMI. And I feel like, wow, like I've got like another 20 pounds or something to go. And it's like, that's amazing. Like you really are quite thin when you get to your BMI. So if you're over that, which, probably a lot of people actually are, then you've got plenty of fat on your body to burn off. And that's what the fast will use. So once you stop eating, your body will burn the fat off your body. And interestingly, it will start with the fat that's around your organs, which is fantastic. That's the the visceral fat, and that's the fat that's very unhealthy and it's quite dangerous. So it's good that it uses that first. The body knows, it's very smart, uses that fat first. So when you do your first lot of fasting, you may not see massive differences in your arms or your little pot belly or your legs or wherever you carry it. But as you progress and keep fasting, then that fat has then gone away from the organs. It's been used already. So then it will start using the aesthetic fat, if you like, the one you want to lose.
Routine then. So what is your exact routine when you start, and then like what you start out at, what you eat, and then how long you fast, and then when you come out of it, how long do you maintain your juicing?
Just before Nat answers that, Patty, I would like to kind of, I guess, maybe table the conversation with regards to you're going through some dental stuff at the moment, and I want to remember the fact that what fasting can do while you're healing and how it speeds up that process. So I just want to sort of table that so we don't forget to come back to it. But Nat, if you want to answer Patty's question with regards to what the routine is, and then if we could sort of segue back to anything to do with healing, and you're dealing with implants at the moment, so you're getting like a foreign object into your bone structure and how the healing aspect works, which is why Nat even started fasting to begin with. But yeah, go through the routine first, Nat.
Yeah, so again, it really depends on how long you're going to fast for, as to how long your pre-fast would be, so before the fast, and how long coming out of it. So if you were going to do a 3-day fast, I would recommend that you did at least 3 days of fruits and vegetables. Now, before that, I would definitely recommend that you do intermittent fasting for a good couple of weeks. And if that's because a lot of people have that as their lifestyle now. So, or you might have an extended, you might eat for 10 hours of the day. And it's like, just bring that window in little bit by little bit type thing until we can get it down into say a 6-hour window. And then that's a nice way to then go into a pre-fast of a couple of days and then start the water fast. So you do your 3 days of water, and then you would come back out and you would do everything in reverse. So the fruits and vegetables, and then you would do juicing for a day or so, and then start your fast, and then we reverse it. So we do juicing next, and then we do fruits and vegetables. So the main thing with coming back out of a fast is you don't want to get sick. The longer you fast, the longer you have to do it's called a refeeding. So coming back into food, and you have to do it super slowly, because otherwise you're going to start to feel really unwell. So on a 3-day fast, you should be fine in coming back to a day of juice. And you don't need a lot of juice either. I'm not just talking that's the only thing you have. You might have a liter of juice, and you want to test it a little bit. You want to have a glass and sort of go, okay, how do I feel about that? Let's sit with that for half an hour, see if I can take some more in. Am I not feeling well? And then have some more juice, and then go to the fruits and vegetables. So I like to do the 4 S's for the fruits and vegetable week, or the few days that you're going to do them. So things like soups, so vegetable soups, smoothies, stir fries, and salads. So just doing the 4 S's, I think, is the easiest way to remember it. And also half of that really is raw. So your salads and your smoothies are all raw. You can get lots of vegetables in there if you've got a good enough blender. And then, a vegetable soup and a stir fry is a great way to also do your lots of fruits and vegetables. So I just stick with that for that week. If you're going to do a longer fast, then you'll need to really make sure that you get a decent 7 days of fruits and vegetables in, then probably 2 days of juice. This is what I would normally do. So I'm about to do another 12 or 13-day fast.
Wow.
September. So I would do a week. So next week, actually, on Monday, I start my fruits and vegetables for a week. So the 4 S's. Then I'll do 2 days of juice, and I'll do the 12, 13 days of water. And then I'll do it in reverse. I'll do 2 days of juice, and I'll make sure that I do at least a week or 2 of fruits and vegetables again before I eat too much more. And when I say fruits and vegetables, at that point, I might start to introduce nuts into, a salad or some seeds and those sorts of things. Just not heavy pastas, and you just got to really watch.
We're also here in Mexico, so you might bring a tortilla in a few days later.
And some beans when you come back off a fast. So on a fast, your body is breaking everything down. That's how it's healing itself. It's discarding. Once you hit about 18 hours, your body starts discarding all the old cells, all the damaged cells. It's called autophagy. So you move into autophagy and it starts discarding everything. So it's on a fast, you're breaking down the body of the old stuff. And then once we come off a fast, we have to rebuild the body. So protein becomes really important. So things like beans, we're in Mexico, that's easy to get. Fruits and vegetables have a lot of protein as well. So things like spinach has a lot of protein. Funnily enough, you don't sort of think about fruits and vegetables having proteins, but it is possible to get protein through fruits and vegetables. So it's just thinking about different ways to actually get protein into your diet as soon as you come back off, so that your body can rebuild its cells, the good cells as well. And your body is also producing stem cells, which is really interesting. So stem cells are cells that haven't been given a purpose in life. They don't have a mission yet. So when they're created, they go to wherever they need to go, which is why stem cells are used for injuries. So if somebody has a car accident or something like that, they use stem cell therapy to heal the body. So that means that they can go to where they need to go. And the same thing happens after a fast. So you've produced a whole bunch of stem cells into your system. And now by eating protein, when you come back off, it will then make sure that it doesn't go to fat, that it actually goes to healing the processes of the body that it needs to do that. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and when I say juicing, what I'm juicing is I'm juicing kale, spinach, carrots, celery, and ginger and beets.
Awesome.
So that's what I've been on for the past 3 months, pretty much. And then I add like apples and pears, or so it'd probably be pretty easy for me to just start a water fast now, since that's all I've been having.
You will slip into a water fast so easy.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah, because I mean, I sometimes I have tofu in my smoothies, but otherwise I'd love a salad, but I have no teeth to eat one, but I would love to have one. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm just juicing mainly just vegetables.
that's fantastic. You would be feeling so different, I'm sure, after it's like a raw food diet, but liquid. Like it's so
Yeah,
easy on
exactly.
digestion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think that'll be good because it might improve the healing. I mean, I'm healing now, I can tell, but that would help with the healing even more, I think.
it will, because even though you're having liquid food, essentially, you're still spiking your insulin levels to some degree. And on a fast, you stop that process because obviously you're not taking in any food. So as soon as you eat food, your insulin level will go up. It doesn't matter what form the food is in, whether it's liquid or a nice salad. So you'll actually get more healing because the body will actually stop that process of insulin, of spiking insulin, and therefore digestion of that liquid food that you're having. So you'll get more healing from a water fast now, because you've had that. You've got a great prep, but you will actually notice more healing on a water fast than you will on what you're doing right now because of that
Good,
process. Yeah.
good.
So can I just ask, Patty, if you just tell us your timeline with your dental work at the moment? So where are you at? You've had implants or
So,
not?
so I have well, when I fell, I knocked my front teeth out, but my back teeth are bad, so they pulled all my teeth. I have 4 implants on top, 4 on the bottom, and I'll get what's called all on four. And then I also broke the bone across here that holds your teeth in, so I can't wear dentures right now or anything. And
Oh.
so I just have to let all the bone grafts that keep this part together. And so that was in May. So I've been juicing since then. And then I I could eat a hamburger sort of like if I make it at home, one, not a frozen one, like fresh meat, and then I can break it up really small. So that's the only meat I'm having. And then I go back to Cancun in November.
Yeah.
So I've just been juicing pretty much since then. I mean, since May.
So are you experiencing any inflammation from the implants, or are you past all that now?
Totally fine. Oh yeah, everything was totally fine from day one. Hardly any bruising. Everything's been great, and it's really good.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You heal that bone, and obviously that's what you're waiting for now. Like you've got another 2
Mhm.
months of that healing process. But
Yeah.
yeah, the water fast, you're perfectly primed for water fasting right now to really heal that whole system and really solidify that bone structure that you need. I
So
think
now
you
you mentioned that you do some broth when you do the water fast. That you do broth, but you don't do tea or coffee or even herbal tea.
you can have herbal tea. Just watch it if it's
Okay,
got
good.
caffeine in it, because your body becomes so sensitive to
Right.
everything when you fast, because there's nothing to inhibit it. Then I treat it like, I really treat a fast as trying to be as pure as possible. So no caffeine and therefore no coffee. But certainly herbal teas is fine.
Okay, good.
Some people have found we don't drink coffee, so I'm not certainly the
Yeah, I
person
don't either, but I was
advise
just
on
curious.
coffee. But some people have things like chicory and stuff, which apparently isn't a substitute for coffee. So, but yes, herbal teas is perfectly fine. And on a fast, you can have a broth if you like. So you can either go pure. I try to do pure water on a 3-day fast because it's not that difficult. But
Right.
that's me now, like having fasted a while. So I understand that if people are not at that stage. But one way to sort of make it a bit more normal, and I think the whole idea of fasting is to try and make it as normal as possible. Like, don't sort of like lock yourself away because you're on a 3-day fast. You can't see friends, you can't do anything, you can't go out. I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be as normal as possible, because then the mind settles into, oh, we're just, I help Jodie still prepare food. If she's not fasting with me, I'll prepare her food for her. Like, it doesn't worry me. I love being in the kitchen. So I keep doing that process. It's just that I don't get to eat it at the end of it. And that's fine. I'm okay with
Yeah.
that. But I understand some people are not okay with that. But the broth allows you to have dinner, if you like. And that's the way I treated it. So at 6 o'clock, when I was on my long fast, at 6 o'clock was dinner time. And we would have made a big bone, not bone broth, vegetable broth. And obviously taken all the vegetables out. We would have had some lentils in there as well, because it's great for potassium, which you need on a fast. So I always encourage people to put lentils into the broth, drain it all, and just drink the liquid. That's it. But it's a really nice, it's warm, it's something different.
You would also put a bit of extra salt, because if you don't like drinking water salt, because sometimes you need that additional salt while you're water fasting. So Nat would not put salt into a glass of water because she doesn't like that, but she would put salt into her broth at night to get that sodium aspect.
Sodium. Yeah, it's really important. Broth is a good way to get potassium and sodium into your system. So there's 3 essential minerals that you need every single day, and they regulate the fluids in the body, your blood pressure, just those sorts of things. There's 12 essential minerals at the end of the day, but the other 9 are not essential every single day. Like, they're for bone structure and things like that. You're not going to fall apart if you don't have it for 3 days. So but we just need to make sure we have sodium, potassium, and magnesium in our system. So the ways to do that is either you can put sodium, salt, into your water. I personally do not like that.
No.
I have mineral water. Yeah, it's a bit gaggy. So having mineral water allows you to put more salt in because it's already salty. So I just add, like a half a teaspoon of salt in there. So you need more salt in your system when you're fasting, because the kidneys are actually releasing a lot of sodium and water when you fast. So you need to make sure, I know sodium, we shouldn't have too much salt in our diet.
I know, that's why I'm surprised. Good to know.
Fast you need it. Salt is actually the most essential mineral in the body that we have. So you must make sure that you get enough of it on your.
Well, I just want to frame that with regards to, if you've ever, and in Florida, no doubt you've experienced extreme humidity one of the therapies as such for extreme humidity is to actually take a salt intake so that you can absorb your liquid more. So it's kind of thinking about those things around like environment and stuff where we know, oh yeah, I'm in Thailand and it's 98% humidity and I'm having a piece of watermelon. Well, you might need to actually lick a little teaspoon of salt because you want to maintain, because otherwise you're going to sweat it all out, and your body will lose that sodium that it needs. So it's interesting when you look at the so-called what's bad for your diet and what's good for your diet, depending on what you're doing with your lifestyle and what your conditions are in, humidity and all those kind of things as well.
Yeah, I do agree that there's plenty of salt in all our foods these days, depending on what.
Yes.
And I think that's where it comes into play is, you have some sort of processed foods laden with salt, and then you can have too much of it. But salt is really, really important in your diet to make sure that you have it, so that it actually balances out your fluid levels. That's one of the main things that it does. So it is essential on a fast that we must have salt. And we need about a teaspoon or a little bit more, teaspoon and a half a day. So you just need to make sure.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is a lot because your kidneys are flushing it out. So don't forget that's happening as well on a fast. Not only you're not taking it in, but it's also getting flushed out. So you do need to make sure that's topped up. So put it in your broth, put it in mineral water. Sometimes I just lick the salt and I just put it in my mouth because I feel like something different.
So ultimately the only one of the three essentials that you can't get naturally is magnesium. Is that the only supplement that you suggest?
Normally magnesium you would get through your fruits and vegetables and things like that, but of course we're not having that, so I usually just suggest that people take a supplement for it. So I will only ever supplement when I'm on a fast. Normally I don't do magnesium supplement, but any supplement usually is enough. You need about 400 milligrams a day, so it's usually, most of them will have that, just your normal magnesium supplement. The tough one to get on a fast is potassium. Potassium offsets sodium. So sodium will increase your water intake and hold the water in your body, and the potassium will actually take it out. So it'll actually, both of them have to be there to combine with each other to make sure that your fluid levels are perfect. So it is a little difficult to get potassium. If you go and look for a potassium supplement, you'll get about 2% of your daily intake on any supplement. I challenge anyone to find a supplement that has more than that, because I have searched and searched and searched, and I cannot find ones that have very much at all. They'll say maybe 500 milligrams on the packet, and then when you actually look at them, the potassium has come from 500 milligrams down to about 2% of your daily intake. So it's very little. So I don't worry about trying to supplement potassium because I just think they're useless. So the way to do that on a fast is, if you don't have to worry so much about it on a 3-day fast, but if you're going to go longer, you really have to start looking at things like the broth, where you can actually put lentils into the water and the potassium will leach out into the broth, so you can get potassium that way. Or infused waters is another way to do it. So things like kiwi fruit and cucumber are really good infused waters. So when we talk about infused waters, you can either buy an infuser or you can just add the fruit into the water. But because they're water soluble, it'll actually pull out the potassium and you can drink it that way. So that's one way to get it in. Another way, if you get really stuck, is to have some orange juice in some water as well on a fast. So, but I would.
Yeah, I do a lot of cucumber.
Yeah,
I do a lot of cucumber, so that's good.
Yeah,
Are you familiar with
yeah.
Are you familiar with Athletic Greens, AG1? Are you familiar with that product? It's a supplement drink, Athletic
No.
Greens. It's got all kinds of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. And I just was wondering if you could still drink that every morning while you fast.
Yep, you just got to watch the calorie intake in it, because you don't want to obviously take too many calories in.
Right.
But you also need to watch that it doesn't have any sugar in it.
No.
So not even just added sugar, but sugar from fruits and vegetables that might be in the greens. So just making sure, because we don't want to spike our insulin by taking that. So
Gotcha.
yeah, if they're both okay, and they're quite low in calories and it's not got much sugar in it at all, or no, zero, then that's perfectly fine. Yes. Yep, that's no worries.
One thing I wanted to mention as well, Patty, is on a 3-day fast. Well, actually, I think I even did a 5-day fast the last time I did this. I am not a banana eater. I'm not somebody who craves bananas or whatever else. Like, oh, I don't hate them. I mean, if you give me a fruit salad and I've got a bit of banana in it, I'll put it on the fork with something else so that I have the thing together. But at the end of I think it was my last 5-day fast, because I wasn't having a lot of, well, Nat was on a longer fast, so I only had like a little bit of broth, so I wasn't getting a lot of potassium. But it was interesting for me to clean out my system as much, for me to intuitively listen to my body to say, what is it that you're wanting? And you know what I wanted to break my fast was a banana. And it was almost like I instinctively knew that I wanted potassium. It was I need to get potassium back in after having fasted. And I now have even shifted that. Like, I'm happy to now, if I'm intermittent fasting, I will wait until after, say, 12 o'clock to have quote unquote lunch, but I might still have a 10 or 11 a.m. banana just to get that potassium thing. And that shifted from fasting. And I was never a banana eater.
That's interesting to hear. Yeah, that's cool.
I think that's an interesting thing about fasting, is that you really learn about what your body actually wants. And, I used to be a really big sugar head, like from my family days, like everybody's into desserts and chocolates, and like we were just raised like that. It was such a massive thing. It's a real love thing, and so much food when I go back to mum and dad's. And it's totally changed since I fasted. And it took like one fast to fix that. It just,
wow.
Yep, I got to the end of it and I went, the last thing I feel like right now is a chocolate or a biscuit or anything that's got sugar in it.
It was an extended fast, though. It wasn't a 3-day fast. It was an extended fast. Yeah.
Yeah, I had 14 days on water and 7 days on juice. But that was enough. And I was amazed. Like, I didn't even expect that at all. Like, it just didn't even cross my mind that my whole relationship with food or with sugar would completely change on a fast.
And the interesting thing was that even though this is now months later, I went to the equivalent of 7-Eleven here in Mexico, and I got Nat a little, like those drumstick cornetto ice creams. But it was like a micro one. It was a small one. It was called Carlos, which is the chocolate of Mexico. And Nat had it, and it was a lot smaller than a typical kind of ice cream cone. And she said to me the next morning, "Oh my God, I felt so sick last night after eating that."
Sitting up in bed, and I was like, I just want to throw up. I feel so.
Oh my gosh!
I was like,
she would have had 3 of those in before fasting.
To wash it down. I don't know. It would be. You're not lying when you say that. I would have easily had one of those and a chocolate bar for the night. And I just felt so ill for having it. And but everything's changed. It's definitely, and a lot of people say that is they really crave fruits and vegetables after a fast. Like, that's not craving sweet stuff. And even juice can seem really sweet because you've really cleaned out your whole palate by that stage, and everything's so enhanced with the flavors. And I think that's the great thing about fasting as well, is that you really get to appreciate the food that you do have afterwards, because the flavors are so amazing, and you can smell the smell, like your faculty of smell is like ridiculously heightened once you fast. You can smell things like from across the road. It's amazing. And I think that, I don't know, just really changed my whole perspective on food now. And you start to really appreciate the food is fuel for the body. The body actually needs the right number of nutrients each day. And the main reason that we get hungry all the time is because we're not feeding our bodies the nutrients. And so it keeps coming back going, I'm still hungry. I'm still hungry. I'm still looking for the nutrients. And now you've just given me another cornetto. chocolate cornetto, and I still haven't got what I need, and it's just, so you're just constantly hungry all the time. But once you start eating lots, we've probably noticed this yourself, Patty, like once you start eating lots of fruits and vegetables, in whatever form that is, because you've got so many nutrients coming into your body, it's actually not hungry most of the time. We actually need very little amounts of food for the body.
Well, I mean, this is, I was going
sorry.
to say, Patty, this has been months now. Like, how has it been for you?
It's been great. I really enjoy juicing. It tastes so good, and I mix it all up with different fruits and vegetables, and it's been pretty cool, especially with experimenting with beets and cucumbers. It's been good.
Beets are the best. I
Love
love
beets.
Yeah.
beets.
The first time I added too much, and the juice was like brown and gross, but and it was really strong. But now I know to add a quarter beet or a half beet, and it's much better. But I was going to ask you, so what size serving size portion do you use for your broth when you have it for dinner?
I'll have usually about 2 cups, just coffee
Okay.
cups. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. And that's
Literally in a
kind
cup.
of always, yeah.
We did the whole pot with a whole bunch of vegetables and the lentils and everything. And then, put it in the fridge with, a container, and that would literally serve out 2 cups to heat up, and they'd be heated up. She put the extra salt in, and then even on the extended fast, she would even, because she is, it's more the where you've come from in your traditional belief system that dessert follows dinner. So we actually juiced some watermelon, which is super easy because you don't even have to juice it. You just literally blend it. But we put it into ice
Yeah.
cubes, and
That's
she
what
would
I do too.
take a couple of ice cubes, and she was like, "This feels like dessert after the broth."
Yeah.
Yeah. So on extended fast, I would do that. I probably wouldn't do it on a 3-day fast because it does spike your insulin. But if you're getting really bored on an extended fast, I definitely would recommend that you do something like
So you
that.
can have an ice cube like that, because I do that the same thing with strawberries and blueberries. I juice those, make strawberries and or ice cube trays of those as
That'd
well.
even be better because lower
Again,
in GI. Sorry.
lower in GI, but it's also like, again, looking at, if at this point in time you've been doing months of prep, without even realizing you were doing months of prep.
Yeah.
If you went and did a 3-day water fast, you probably would just want to say, I can do this. I can do 3 days
Yeah.
water fast. It's going to be amazing. And then when you come out of it, if you decide to do an extended fast in the future, these are the hacks for the extended fast. These are things that you want to go beyond the
Yeah, I
3,
understand.
even 5 days. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. Try
I'm
and keep
pretty
it
excited
up.
to try. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to try this.
Yay.
Oh, that's very cool.
Very cool.
So Nat is actually putting together a course at the moment, a video course. She actually has all the transcripts of the videos that she's putting into the course already in a course delivery self-learning
In the membership. Yeah.
membership as such. But the thing that we're doing at the moment before the videos are all prepared is just inviting people into the community, where you get to have Nat be, your cheerleader, coach, guide, support person. A lot of the people in the community are probably not in your situation, like with regards to, you've got a lot of prep already under your belt and you're ready to go. Many of the people that are coming to the community have either never fasted before, or are total foodies and they're freaking out about the idea of not having food. And but the community aspect is that every month, or 4 to 6 weeks, Nat is running a kind of group fast, like literally where we can all kind of report in with each other how we're feeling, because most of the game is the mental game, because as she says, the body is ready and able and almost even wanting to be fasting, but the mind is like, no flipping way, like I am not doing
I can't go without food for a day.
And this sort of like 3 to 5 day fast is something we're doing as kind of a community and a group thing together. But ultimately the course that Nat's putting together is giving all the hacks, all the science behind it, everything she's been researching for pretty much the last year, in how it all works and what happens at the different time frames when you stop eating, and from intermittent fasting into an extended, even if it's a 40-hour fast, into a 3-day fast, into a what goes on beyond that, and how you can kind of make sure that you get through it. So that is available, and we've got the community available for that, and we've got some really cool people in there. It's only a really small group. It's just a handful of fellow house sitters and a couple of family members, and it's really small and interactive. But once she's got all the videos prepared and they're all edited and up in this completely self-sustained self-study course, she'll be charging a monthly fee for her coaching. But right now it's like a one-time, get it for life, get access, hang out with people who are doing the same thing. So if you're interested in that, we can invite you into the community. We've got it as a $95 US, get access to everything ongoing forever. But that'll change shortly as soon as we start getting the course pack together as well.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I read your email extensively and your newsletter, and I've been following you for years, and you look great. And yeah, I remember when you fell and hurt your knee and all that, or your foot or whatever it was. I just remember when you had the accident, and yeah, I've just been following you for a long time, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's
Well,
great.
it's lovely to meet you. I mean,
Yeah, it's awesome.
for you to have come in through this way, that you've known us through a different avenue of house sitting, and now coming into this sort of element as well.
Yeah, I thought it was cool that you guys, took this path. I think it's neat.
Yeah, just sort of, I certainly didn't expect to go down this path. It was just where we ended up. It's just like I did some fasting properly, and went, wow, I really love this. Like, and the healing was amazing just in a couple of days, just to show Jodie what I could do with my knee again. And it was just literally 2 or 3 days. I was like, oh my goodness, like, was that all just inflammation? And yeah, it was just so interesting to see the difference and feel the difference.
But I was the one saying to her, like, do you want to help other people with this? And she's like, well, I've already helped my sister and I've already helped my friend. And I was like, well, what if you help other people with this as well? So that's why I was sort of putting it together as a proper program, like we've shifted from just house sitting into, I guess, Nat's true passion, which has always been health and wellness. And now she's, getting involved in doing the whole diploma of natural practitioner as well, which is really exciting. So
yeah, I saw that. I thought that was really neat. Actually, I lived in England before I lived in Florida. So I lived in Bristol, England for 3 years. In the
just down
early
the road
80s.
from Bath.
Yes, just down the road. I was there all the time, and I was in Chepstow, Wales, and
in
it was beautiful.
Glastonbury.
It was just so nice. The whole area was so nice.
Yeah,
so we actually got married in 2012 in Glastonbury, in the Goddess Temple.
Oh my gosh, Glastonbury Tour is the coolest place.
Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter was born there, and so she's going to be 38 in November. And yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, Patty should meet Jennifer, because I'm pretty sure Jennifer's daughter was born over there too, in that area. Yeah, Jen from Canada. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's the Earth's heart chakra. Did you know that?
Yes. That's such a cool. And Avesbury is just so cool.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good experience. Good 3-year experience.
Fantastic.
That's very cool. Well, please do let us know how you go if you decide to go on water fast. For the 3-day period is yes, you can do 18 hours, and yes, 18 hours of fasting puts you into autophagy. But if you can go to 40 hours, maybe this week, or maybe next week you go to the 72 hours, but just let us know like what you decide to do.
Yeah, I'd love to know
and what you experience through it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely will, because I have your email and stuff, so I'll definitely let you know. But yeah, I don't do intermittent fasting, but like I have fasted for 24 hours at a time, but never longer than that. But with the right mindset, and maybe since I'm preparing by doing the juicing now, I think that should help.
Yeah, I think you'll slip into it very easily.
Yeah,
even though you might go through a bit of a rough period for the first 24 hours or so, you might get headaches or just not feel very great. That's really just the body just clearing itself out. You may not even experience that because you've been on fruits and vegetables for so long now. And then after that, your body just really will sail along. Like a lot of people get to that 3 days, they struggle along for the 2 or 3 days, and then they go, oh my God, I felt like amazing on the third day. I could just keep going for like weeks. Like, and it's that feeling.
Well, the other
Get
thing
that
is, if
stage.
you are feeling any struggle through that first day or two, is look at the self-care elements of things like give yourself a foot spa detox, like literally just Epsom salts in water, relax. Do some deep breathing, do a bit of soft movement, do those things that'll just help calm the mind more than anything. And it's like, okay, if I can just get to the 24-hour mark, what if I got to the 48-hour mark? Like, it's those little things that help, the rituals as such, that you can get through with. Yeah,
Totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's fabulous. Please do let me know. I'll be so interested to see
Yeah,
how.
thank you so much. I really appreciate this call. It really helped me, get more information on more than I read. So
Yeah.
I'm really glad. And I can't wait to see how you progress through this and develop it.
Thank you. Yeah.
awesome.
Thanks for being here. It's been awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Excellent. Oh,
Good one. Well, take care,
glad you had the time here.
Oh yeah, I was looking
Yeah.
forward to it. When I saw it, I was like, oh, and there's one on Friday. Yeah, I'll do that.
Sweet.
Yay.
All right, well, I'm just going to
Yeah.
stop the recording now, and we'll get this recording out to everyone, but stay here if you want to keep chatting. I'll just
Oh,
stop
I'm
it
good.
now.
I'm
Thank you
I'm
so
good.
much. Thanks,
Great.
Nat.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good evening.
See ya.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.